Man, that lag. All right. Live YouTube and live on Faceplant. Yeah, we're live. Okay. Waiting for the ushers to open the doors for the live studio audience. All right, Ron and Linda are here. Ushers, bring them both down front, VIP seats. Front row, VIP seats, bring them down. You'll notice, since yesterday, the VIP seats are now Lazy Boy recliners. I want my VIPs to be comfy. I think Kathy's at a ball game again. Didn't she say they have another ball game? And Mrs. M's here. All right, bring her down to the VIP section. Put her in one of those Lazy Boy recliners. Yeah, I figured since I'm not paying the bird, I'll use his paycheck to buy nice seats for the guests up front. Let's get a roll on here. With great anticipation, broadcasting from the basement storeroom of station WDWL TV, it's the pride of the station. Oh, me, the grumpy old man. And he's still wearing his Unfair to Vulture, so who cares? He looks like a stuffed animal back there anyway. So how is everybody doing? Another roasting day in Cleveland. I am never going to get that exhaust system lengthened. I mean, I've got all the parts. I've got the pipe, everything. I just need to take the muffler off, move it back 2.5 to 3 feet, and put it back together. Because right now it's like almost underneath my door and way too loud. As much as I love a glass pack, especially when it's 2 1/4 in and 4 inches out. That trumpet on the end of that muffler, but being like almost under the door, I'm going deaf. 104 in Tempe. Right, Linda, it's hot everywhere. It was so hot here, I saw a couple of sparrows dunking their worms in the cold bird bath to revitalize the worm. That's how hot it was. 106. Whoa! I don't know how you people can live in those temperatures. I give you a lot of credit. The state should pay you people to live there. Man. I mean it. Everybody in the state should get a check at the end of the year. Thank you for living here. Here's your check. You don't owe us any taxes. We owe it to you. All of the state would go fucking broke. Yeah. What they need, you know, you have AC in the house, you have AC in the car, you have AC in the shopping plaza. Someone needs to invent an air-conditioned clothing. You know, you put on, and it has a little solar panel that would go over your head, and like a cooling suit, and be solar powered. Something like the astronauts wear. Except they would have to make it, you know, on a smaller. You could never get in your car with that big suit they wear and that big thing on the rack. Oh, the power companies. Oh, they fucking love this time of the year. Yeah. They love it. Because they know they're gouging the shit out of everybody. Power meters are going... Watching that little dial. The needles are going so fast, they're falling off the fucking dial. And then, in the winter... in Ohio, the gas company bleeds us dry, so we don't get a break. The electric company screws us, and then the gas company screws us. And now they got this goddamn thing where every year you got to choose your gas supplier. You have to look at the rates, you got to look at this, you got to... Not like back in the old days. You moved into a house, you call the electric company. Hello, I need electric. Okay, thank you. You call the gas company. I need gas. Okay, thank you. Now you have to go down the chart and so much here and wait a minute, that's only for 6 months. This is a variable. No, I can't figure that shit out. Luckily, we have an office in our ward that the councilman actually funds. And I go up there every year and I hand the woman all my shit and say, here, you figure out my HEAP application and everything for me. I can't figure this shit out. And then I ask her, you know, what gas supplier are you with? Well, I'm with so-and-so because it's such a good rate. Good, put me with that one. Crock of bullshit. We have to figure out... That was like the supplier I was with last year. And what happens is... you got a couple of months where you got to figure out if you're going to stay or you're going to go. Well, before I could make my decision, they took it upon themselves to re-enroll me. Well, they re-enrolled me, and Jesus Christ, the rate was 3 times higher. I called them and said, I didn't... I'm going somewhere else. Then, all of a sudden, it was like, oh, we can give you a rate that was even lower than last year if you'll stay with us. I said, is it locked for 12 months, guaranteed? Oh, well, yes. Put it in writing and let me see it, and then I'll okay it. Well, they shot me an email in writing. So I stayed with them. It's amazing. You threaten to quit. And, whoop! Wait a minute. Linda, you know, all these companies are just looking to screw you over. Because when you go in, and there's got to be 100 different gas suppliers and 100 different electric suppliers, and you got to figure out the rates and this and that. It's almost impossible for you know, a senior. Like, I don't understand that shit. Then the girl up at our ward office says, well, you know, we're really not supposed to be doing this. I'm doing this as a favor. I said, well, good. Remember, favor, next November, when it comes time to do the heat paperwork and do all this other calculating. I feel sorry for the people that have, like around here, all, you know, some people have all electric homes. Holy shit. Everything electric, you know, furnace is electric, the hot water tank is electric, electric stoves. They never get a break. At least like with me. I have a gas furnace and a gas hot water tank. Right now, the furnace is fucking shut off. So, I'm basically paying a minimum bill just for the hot water tank. But you know, I only get that for a couple of months, and then the cold weather hits and you got to turn the furnace back on again. Sometime the website is apples to apples. Look it up, apples to apples, and then look at the oh my God! Like I say, there's a multitude of goddamn electric companies, and yeah. Last year, my gas supplier was out of fucking Texas. I'm in Ohio. Now, the gas comes through the same fucking line. It's ridiculous. But the Texas gas company that I was with was cheaper than the Ohio gas company that's up the street. Yeah, my gas came out of Texas and my electric came out of New Hampshire or New Jersey or some shit. But I got the same line. And look at some of the charts. Oh my God. Some are only good for 3 months, some are only good for 6, some are only good for 9, some are for a year. And then you got to watch, because either, you know, a locked rate or a variable, which, oh God, you don't want no fucking variable. I almost got screwed. That's why I'm lucky I could go up to the office, because I was looking, I was like, oh, look at this company. You know, it's only like $1.10 and the others are charging $8. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll go with them. Variable. Yeah, you sign up at $1.10 and 2 months later it's a 20, you know. Yeah, but is she buying cords of firewood? Or does she have an acreage that's loaded with trees that they can go out and saw down and split? And when you look at it, you're really not saving, because what you're paying for a couple of cords of wood every couple of weeks, yeah, it's nice to have a fireplace, but where are you getting the wood? Unless they own a tree service. Well, forgot to shut something off here. Went. What the? Jesus Christ. Something just happened with the fucking microphone. Now it's not. Come on. Something just went haywire here with the microphone. I hope it's broadcasting. Are you getting sound? Are you getting sound? Ron says no sound? All right, now the sound is back. Okay. As I was saying, Linda, if she had to buy cords of firewood, she's really not saving. Now, if you're getting it off your own property, great. That was like, years ago. My aunt and uncle did that. As a matter of fact, their house had 2 fireplaces. Because my uncle built a house. They had one in the living room, and they had one in the master bedroom. Well, they had, I think it was a 15-acre lot. And when they built the house, they just cut enough of the trees down to build the house and a driveway. Well, every fall, my uncle would slowly work his way back. I mean, it was amazing. After 10 years, they had a beautiful backyard. And he cut the trees down, split them himself, and their gas bill was very low. But if you had to buy firewood, oh man, you're at the mercy of the guy selling the firewood. There are a couple of houses in this neighborhood that have fireplaces. I don't know if the people use them anymore. Houses that were built back in the 30s. Matter of fact, the interesting thing, 3 houses away from me was the first house on this street. And it's an old farmhouse that was built, certified, 1919. And he actually has pictures of the street was a dirt road. And it was all pasture land and that, and his farmhouse. Now, I don't know if he uses his fireplace or not. Well, I could understand hurricane season because the hurricane had literally fucking sucked the ashes out of that fireplace and deposit them everywhere. It's just, it's sad that everybody's out to fucking screw you. Gas company, electric company, water, sewer. It's sad. It's just, what we're paying for water and sewer and refuse. I don't know how some of the seniors in this neighborhood are surviving. I really don't. Because I know there's a couple I know are getting way less than I am. I don't know how they're making it. I really don't. They're probably sharing dog biscuits with their dog. Here, I'll break it in half. You get half, I get half. Oh, I gotta quit watching court cases because I'm slowly getting pissed off. There was a court case today with a girl that got caught stealing from Walmart, skip scanning, She's in court. She had 10 children by 8 different fathers. And none of the fathers were paying any child support. She had her first at age 13. She's 26. 10 kids, 8 different fathers. Getting a shitload of welfare money and food stamps. Don't these younger generations know what birth control is? Now, I'm sure with all the federal funding that got cut over the years, I remember when I was in high school, up at the One Plaza was a Planned Parenthood office. And of course, all the teenage girls would sneak in, and they would literally get a prescription for a year's worth of birth control. I don't know if these offices exist. And if they do, why aren't they taking advantage? Ten kids, 8 different fathers. Oh, God, I haven't had good jerky in years. Now, I'm a little jerky, but I mean, beef jerky, I have not had good jerky, and I don't buy this stuff in the store because you get about 4 pieces. So expensive. I had to turn the fan up. Moving the air. I have the ceiling fan going, and I got a fan down by my feet, moving air in here. Oh, that's the birthday gift, huh? Homemade? Do you make it run, or you have an outlet for good homemade beef jerky? There used to be a guy lived in the neighborhood. He lived up the street, and his uncle owned a butcher service, and people would go out to a farm and buy a cow and take it to him, and a lot of times he would say, all right, I will charge you X dollars if I can have so much meat. And people were like, okay. And he used to make his own beef jerky. Oh my God. And the guy up the street would sell it. He would make big, huge fucking vats of it. It was to die for. And then when he retired, he moved to Florida, and there went the jerky. Made in Oklahoma City. Oh. Oklahoma City. You're not in Oklahoma. What's your connection to the jerky joint? Yeah, he would, every now and then, he would make deer jerky, and I would be like, no, thank you. I'm not into eating Bambi. I can't remember. He was selling 5 pound. It was like a 5 pound bag, and it was really cheap. You know, I hear it's really not that hard to make. There's a lot of prep to it, but I mean, like I say, he made vats of it. And every now and then, well, he was also on the call list. If somebody hit a deer, they had a list of people they would call. And they would call him, and if he felt like getting up at 3 in the morning to go get a deer, because then he had to butcher it right away, and then he'd take the whole deer, whatever he could use, and make deer jerky, and I was like, no thank you. Dill pickle jerky. You know, I've noticed they're going a little overboard with the dill pickle. You know, Lay's has dill pickle chips, which aren't bad. I'm in the store today. I see dill pickle ranch salad dressing. Dill pickle ranch. I think they're going a little bit overboard. Next thing you'll see dill pickle ice cream. Blech. Oh, I love good dill pickle, yeah, on a burger. Matter of fact, I'll go to Burger King and I'll tell the girl, give me all the dill pickle chips that everybody said minus dill pickle chips. Put them on my sandwich. She just looks at me and is like, just pay your bill and move aside. There's already dill pickle ice cream. Oh, God. Well, back in the day, I made my own dill. I made garlic dills until someone stole my goddamn crock. One of the few things I actually worked with my grandmother when she'd make them. And I learned how to make garlic dill pickles. And up until someone stole my crock, I made them every year. And loved drinking the pickle juice. Oh. I'd take a belt of that pickle juice first thing in the morning. I'm waiting to see dill pickle candy. I'm sure somebody's making dill pickle candy if they're making dill pickle ice cream. You know, Mrs. M, I've tried them. They're not bad. When my son was down in Amish country, he brought a jar of pickled watermelon rind. And it wasn't bad. It surprised me. There is one thing I would like to try. I would like to try a fried dill pickle. They batter dip them and they fry them till they're golden brown, and I would love to try one. From what I hear, you can get them at the fair. I myself would rather have a funnel cake, but I'd like to try a fried dill pickle. You don't like dill pickles, Linda? You know, another thing I go crazy for is sweet gherkins. Oh, I could eat jars full of sweet gherkins. I love them. But unfortunately, I can't get them at Save-A-Lot. I can't get them at Mark's. The only place that carries them is Gigantic Eaglet, and they have a gigantic price on them. But sweet gherkins, oh, I love them. Yeah, Linda, but you know, you still made them. Which I'm sure your daughter appreciated the shit out of it. But there's a lot of people that go, I don't like them, I'm not making them. So you made your daughter a very happy camper. Do you eat sweet pickles? Oh, I love dill. Oh, God. I love it. That was one thing when I was making the garlic dills. Oh, I put a shitload of dill in. You know, yes, not yesterday, the day before, and today, I was in 4 different stores. I cannot find dried dill or some dill weed. Nobody's carrying it. I don't know what it is with the dried dill. I can't. Save-A-Lot, they don't have it. They don't carry it anymore. Mark's, they didn't have it. I called Gigantic Eaglet. The girl said, we're out. And they don't know when they're getting it. Well, that's what I'm going to have to break down and do, Mrs. M. I'm going to have to order it online. Because I can't find it in the stores. I don't know what nobody's growing dill anymore? What the hell? What the hell's the big spice company? Mac something. They got big racks in the store. No dill. Oh, now those I like, Linda. Yeah. Every now and then I'll get a jar of bread and butter pickles. I like pickles in general. McCormick. Thanks, Ron. I looked in the McCormick rack at Mark's. No dill. Or dill weed, as some... I don't know what it is. You can't find... God, that... Is dill getting that scarce that nobody's growing it anymore, or what? I guess I'm going to have to get it online. Because I like putting dill in some of my cooking. Not to mention, I could make dill dip. Another thing, 3 different stores, peppercorns. Now, you can get them in the goddamn grinder. I have a grinder. I want to fill my grinder. No jars of peppercorns, only in the grinders. What is going on? You used to be able to get white peppercorns or black peppercorns or mixed peppercorns. They'd have white and black and red, and can't get goddamn peppercorns. And I'm tired of hearing suppliers. Oh, our supplier don't carry it, or our supplier can't get it. I mean, I like getting stuff online, but they're kind of forcing us to buy goddamn everything online nowadays. Oh, I did get some good news today. Oh, I won my PayPal or my eBay dispute. I mentioned 2 weeks ago, I ordered off of eBay, an eBay seller, OxyClean carpet pet deodorizer. Well, it got shipped, but somehow the post office, he didn't really explain it clearly. It was like the woman tried to cheat and use like the same shipping label twice or some shit. Well, it went to a house 10 blocks from me, and it showed delivered. I said, well, yeah, didn't get delivered to me. And the seller kept fighting. It got delivered. and they closed my dispute. Oh, I called eBay. I said, hey, it didn't get delivered to me. It got delivered to a completely different street, 10 blocks away from me. So this morning I get an email. You will find your refund in your account within 5 to 7 days. We have decided in your favor. Thank you. Yeah, the damn postmaster was busy. I wanted him to explain how she could use the same shipping label twice, or the same track. I don't know. All he said to me was she was trying to cheat. Well, it's obvious the house it got delivered to, when they opened the box and went, oh, we didn't order this, but we'll keep it. Instead of returning it to the post office going, we didn't order this. So they refunded my purchase. When they closed that claim, oh, was I pissed. I gargled eBay phone numbers and called. And then you have to wait, because they're Pacific time. I'm watching the clock going, not yet. Not yet. Okay. And then when the person answered, they barely spoke English. God, between eBay, PayPal, AOL, don't they hire Americans? Almost as bad as when I was fighting with Square Trade, a subsidiary of Allstate Protection Plans. You'll notice when you purchase something on eBay, it will say, do you want the protection plan? And then you see the Allstate logo. It's not Allstate. It's Square Trade. And they're assholes. Although I did get a TV out of the deal and then sold it and bought the TV I wanted. Yeah, Mrs. M, it pisses me off. You call and their accents are so strong you can't understand them. And then when you say, can you transfer me to someone that speaks English? I am speaking English. Not the English I was taught. Transfer me to somebody that speaks the way I do. Asshole. I no understand, asshole. Good. Gargle it. Click. Hello. Yeah, I actually had a guy say that once. What's this asshole? And I told him, Google it. I could see him going around the cow pasture or wherever the hell he was at. Look what American call me. Although, Mrs. M, you'll love this one. When I was fighting with Square Trade, you know, a lot of people work from home, okay? So, I call one day to find out what's going on with my claim. And the woman answers and spoke fairly good English. And I hear fucking chickens clucking away like crazy. And I says to her, what is all that poultry noise in the background? I'm in the chicken coop gathering eggs right now. You're in the chicken coop gathering eggs, and I'm calling about my claim? Can you hold on while I get back in the house? I couldn't fucking believe it. Evidently, it was her turn to answer a phone call. She's out in the goddamn chicken coop gathering eggs. I had to get her ass back in the house to get on her laptop to find out what's going on with my claim. Didn't I like this? I told you the story about AT&T customer service. At 8 p.m. on Friday nights, all the customer service calls are rotored to Pakistan until 8 a.m. on Monday. There is not one AT&T call center open in America over the weekend. And I was told that by an AT&T representative when I bitched about not being able to understand anybody to get my internet problem solved over the weekend. Oh, Linda, as soon as my internet contract expired, I went to Spectrum. And I asked them before I signed up with them, do your calls get rotored to Pakistan for customer service? And the girl went, what? I said, yeah. AT&T call centers are closed over the weekends. She said, well, not us. Good. Sign me up. Thank you for calling AT&T. Bob speaking. Right. And then I was told they have 2 whiteboards. One with men's names and one with women's names. American. And each call taker picks a name. It's always nice when you would get the female go, thank you for calling AT&T. Jessica speaking. Who? Jessica. Right. You know when you get the American, when you ask to speak with the supervisor over the supervisor, because when you get the call center supervisor, you have to ask for her supervisor. Then it's an American. Oh, I've gone through that shit. Oh, man. And it's getting worse. I'm waiting for the day I call Walmart customer service and I get some Pakistani. I'll go crazy. Because I buy a lot of online stuff from Walmart. I hate going in the store, but I'll buy it online. Okay, Mrs. M, tell them we all said hi. And you can guarantee they are not paying the Pakistanis the same hourly rate they're paying the Americans. They're probably working for $1 an hour. But when I got one of the higher ups at AT&T. First of all, he told me about the calls going overseas. And then he explained the whiteboard. He goes, yeah, they come in, each employee picks a name for the day. Let's see, yesterday I was Bob. Today I'll be Walter. Hello? Thank you for calling AT&T. My name is Walter. Right. Walter. You wouldn't mind them picking a name. You'd think they would practice it. My name is Baba. Baba? Not Baba. Baba. That's what you said. Baba. Not Baba. Baba. Put me on with Walter. When I called eBay the other day, I couldn't understand the guy for shit. I'll give you his name tomorrow. It's on the email. It's not American. And you know, when you ask them to repeat what they said, they get indignant. Especially when you say, I can't understand you. They get all pissed off. Well, excuse me, you're not speaking English. I finally told the guy, speak slower and enunciate. And he got all pissed off. But at least he gave me a refund. I think the only reason he gave me a refund, he was afraid I'd call back. Because I lose it. I utterly lose it. And I'm to the point, I don't give a damn. If I hurt your feelings, too fucking bad. If you're in a call center dealing with Americans, learn American English. Airline pilots do. You know, I give a lot of credit to these airline pilots from companies outside the United States, because English is their second language. But when you're flying in and out of airports worldwide, English is spoken as the number one language. And them pilots have to learn to speak clear, precise English. Linda, I know that. But I can only be so patient. When I'm trying to get a problem solved, and I can't understand what they're asking me, I lose it. I realize, you know, they're in mud huts somewhere, barefoot and making 25 cents an hour. But they you know, if AT&T or these big corporations are going to do this shit, then educate them. Like I say, if airline pilots and everyone connected, you know, air traffic control around the world, if they can all learn English and speak it fluently, and yes, they're getting paid more, but it's amazing when every now and then I'll listen to air traffic control, like out of JFK, and it's amazing. You can pick up the accents. And these pilots and ATC, they're I'm to the point, if I can't understand them, I hang up and call back and pray I get someone that at least speaks decent broken English. When I was dealing with Square Trade, oh my God, I'd make 5, 6, 7 phone calls before I could get someone that I could understand. Here I think, I'm buying the TV. It only had a year's worth of factory coverage. At the price I'm paying, I bought the extended warranty for 4 years. But then after a year, when the TV took a shit, I had to fight like hell. First of all, trying to express my pissed offedness, and then they didn't want to pay. They kept giving me the runaround. Not me. Oh, no. You don't play that shit with me. Tried to tell me I did something with the TV to cause it to blow out after a year. I'm laying in bed watching the TV, and the screen starts getting darker and darker and darker and darker. And I thought maybe it was my eyes. And then all of a sudden, dead. TV was exactly a year old. And here, dumbass me, I'm buying RCA, the world leader in televisions. RCA was the first goddamn TV in America. Made in China. Piece of crap. 58-inch big screen, dead in a year. So I bought a Samsung, made in Mexico. But it's an American-owned company in Mexico, supervised by Americans, with very high production standards. I did my research before I bought that TV. Well, and the cell phones are a crapshoot. You know, Apple, they tell you, hey, we have, Americans supervising over at Foxconn in China. So, their quality is supposed to be better. It's still a crapshoot. I would guarantee 90% of the TVs that you see, like at Walmart, they're probably all made in the same plant. Because take a look at flat screen TVs. They all look alike, just a different name. That's why I did not want another TV made in China. I've heard that. With Motorola right behind Samsung. Samsung #1. People don't believe it. Motorola's #2. That's why both of my cell phones are Motorola's. Although, I told the story why I'm loyal to Motorola. It all goes back to when I had my ambulance service back in the 70s. They were the only ones that would give me credit. So I bought their two-way radios. And I've been loyal to Motorola ever since. But yeah, Samsung is the best Android you can buy. I've read the studies. And Motorola's right behind them, #2. I almost bought a Samsung. I come real close. But I got a hell of a deal because they had an overstock on Cosmic Green. They come out with Cosmic Green and they figured, oh, people will love this color. They had so many fucking Cosmic Green phones in the plant, they were just about giving them away. But it's a phone. If you don't like the color, put a goddamn case over it, like I do. Although I like the color. I buy these nice leather cases because it gives it a little more protection if I drop the thing, These screens are... So, you can't tell what color it is. And they're so slippery, I don't dare try to use it without a cover on it. God, the thing slide right out of my hand if I didn't have a case around it. That's what I don't like about the goddamn cell phones. They slide right into your hand. And you know what's amazing? For years, Nokia was the #1 cell phone in the world. And I don't know how they dropped to like hardly any Nokia phones. God, I remember back in the 2000s, they were just about giving everybody Nokia. I want a Nokia. They were the world leader. And now they're like in oblivion. When's the last time you saw a Nokia cell phone? You know, Apple, Samsung, Motorola. I can't think of another one. There is another big one. You got Samsung, you got Motorola, there's another Android. I can't think of the brand. Of course, you got the iPhone, and Apple is so secretive with their operating system that it's not like you see a Samsung Apple phone. Who's another one besides Samsung and Motorola? Although a friend of mine's got a Google phone. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. God, I can't think of the other, because you got Samsung and there's another one. They're constantly fighting for sales. Well, yeah, you got LG, Ron, but there's Samsung and God, I just saw an article the other day too. Oh, now that's going to drive me crazy. I've owned a couple of LG cell phones. They're great. My tablet's an LG. It's 15 years old. If it wasn't that the battery is kind of shooting craps, I love it. It's unbelievable. 15 years and the thing is still cranking. And I over in the cabinet next to me, I've got a couple of old LG. The only reason they're in the cabinet is I upgraded. Not a damn thing wrong with them. I could charge them up and put SIM cards in them and they'd work perfect. I just wanted a little bigger, better phone, you know. You get caught up in the hype. Not to mention the deal I got from Motorola, so. But the two LG cell phones that I still have, they were remarkable. I've nothing against an LG. You know, in my bedroom, I've got that 12-year-old LG flat screen. The one that I watch my local TV on. Matter of fact, it's been running all day. Oh, BlackBerry was big back in the day. Although BlackBerry, they were more executives that had BlackBerries because they actually at one time did everything. They were outstanding phones, but BlackBerry, they kind of screwed themselves because they had their own operating system. And they could never update it right. BlackBerry ended up losing a lot of its customers. But back in the day, if you had a BlackBerry, it was like having a supreme iPhone. Although Steve Jobs aimed to kick BlackBerry's ass, you know, and he succeeded. Because you hardly hear about BlackBerries anymore. You can still get them, but they're not like they were back in the 2000s. Oh, they were outstanding phones. They had great reliability. I never heard anybody complain about their BlackBerries. Because a BlackBerry, besides being a phone, was like a personal digital assistant. It was like a PDA built into the phone. That's why the executives loved them. Big corporate executives all had BlackBerries back in the day. And then iPhone slowly wrote all their programs and kicked BlackBerry's ass. Because if you had a BlackBerry, it was a phone, it was a PDA, it was everything. And then Steve Jobs wised up and went, oh, we can write programs for that. And we'll put it on our iPhone. Because back in the day, every big corporate executive had a BlackBerry. Because they did everything. And then all the other phone manufacturers wised up and started writing that into their phone programs. Because I remember when I was driving for limousine service, everybody had a BlackBerry. Everybody. Besides corporate executives, movie stars, TV stars, music industry stars, everybody had a BlackBerry. Now every time you see a picture of a movie star or a music star, they got an Apple phone. They got iPhones. You know, Linda, you're right. Because Apple really hasn't done shit. All this stuff was basically stuff that Steve's had well in the works. Because Steve always planned like 10 years ahead. What have they really done? The iPhone 16 has got a better camera in it, a little sharper camera, and a little tick here to software and a little tick there. I mean, yeah, they redesigned the phone camera. And they look like Android phones now. With the camera system that Apple's got now, it looks like an Android phone. But somebody, believe me, is going to kick Apple in the ass. The only reason you got the Apple Watch is because Steve doodled it at home. He had mock-ups drawn on his home personal computer. And that's when, what's his name, Tim Cook went, okay, let's engineer Steve's idea of a iWatch. And what have they done with the iWatch? Not a big deal. New dial, new bands. Do they still make an iPod? I haven't seen an iPod ad in years. That puts Steve on the map, the iPod. Since I don't have to go out to my doctor's office in Davy Crocker Park, I don't wander through the Apple store like I used to. But the last, from the iPhone, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16? It's not like they redesigned the phone. They do a little upgrade, you know. No, I think they engineered, they just expanded the memory and wrote software to incorporate an iPod into an iPhone. You don't see kids with iPods. They all got iPhones. So I don't even know if they make them anymore. Didn't I like this? But somebody is going to knock Apple off their ivory tower. I'm waiting for a revolutionary new cell phone to come out. I guarantee somebody has got one in the works. Because iPhone, Apple has held the market for years. There are probably more iPhones in the world than there are Androids. Everybody I know that's gotten them say, oh, they're so easy to operate. Well, let's see. I make a phone call. I send a text message. My phone's pretty easy to operate. I've got friends have them. They swear by them. Oh, I don't know how you can use an Android. Well, what are you doing with your phone? You're sending a text message, you're making a phone call, and you're Googling every now and then. I can do that on my Android. What's so easy about your iPhone? And then my buddy's wife gets pissed off and goes, it's just easier. Well, what's... But see, Linda, everything that Apple has done since Steve died was everything that Steve thought years... He thought years ahead. And now they're running out of Steve's ideas. And they're scrambling. Apple is fucking scrambling right now. Because all of Steve's ideas have been done. Now they got to come up with something new. And they're scrambling. And someone is going to kick their ass. Because somebody, whether it be Samsung or Motorola or LG, is working on a new revolutionary cell phone. The day is coming. See, Apple has coasted on their reputation, but they're scrambling to come up with a new idea. And mark my words, there is a revolutionary cell phone going to come out and just kick ass. I read a lot of the electronics websites, and there's hints every now and then of this revolutionary new cell phone. But nobody say whether Samsung's making it or LG's, they're testing. But there is going to be a phone that is going to blow Apple out of the water. And it's going to be an all-new phone. It's not going to be iOS, and it's not going to be Android. It's going to be a completely new operating system. And I think it's going to be Google, because they're testing a lot of operating systems on their Google phones. But I read a lot of the electronics websites that test cell phones and that, and there's little hints every now and then of this revolutionary new phone. And they're going to catch Apple with their pants down. Because Apple is scrambling right now. They haven't come out with anything new in 10 years, really. They have just taken the iPhone and tweaked it a little bit. And a little tweak. And a little tweak. They haven't done anything revolutionary. What have they done? Like I say, they're scrambling. And someone is going to blow them out of the water. And there goes the microphone. Oh, I hate when it does this shit. It's echoing. I don't know if it's echoing on your end, but it's echoing right here. You know, Linda, I would say within 3 years. Because there's been too much talk about this revolutionary new cell phone. I would say within 3 years. No, it's the electronics websites that are hinting at Google. Not Google himself. Although there could be some bullshit in the background and watch Samsung come out with it, but there is definitely talk about a revolutionary new cell phone. What? Not on this end. You're losing me. Regarding Google? Oh, I don't believe anything that comes out of Google. They're a little too smart for their britches. Just because basically everybody in the world Googles stuff. I feel sorry for the people at Wikipedia. I don't know how Wikipedia can still hang on. Wikipedia used to be the place to go. Then, out comes Google. But he don't think so what? That there's a new cell phone in the works? It's been talked about too long. And it's been on every electronics website. Any of these electronics websites that test phones and tablets, it's been hinted at for too long. Somebody is going to come out with this revolutionary cell phone. I've seen pictures of smartphones this big. The size of this remote. They've been using them in China for years. It's a smartphone this big. Now, be hard on the eyes, but they have smartphones this big. They've been testing them in China for 5-6 years now. Well, it'll be surprising who introduces this new phone, but it's coming. I could see if maybe one or two of these websites talked about it. There's talk throughout the whole industry. Well, I'm not saying it's Google. I'm just saying there's too much talk. I can't get comfortable in this chair today. Of course, my fucking patch is wearing off, so it's been wearing off since about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Thank God I finally have an appointment with Mr. Big. Although I know he's going to give me a bunch of bullshit. Oh, morphine pump. What are you afraid of? It's another surgery. Electric stim unit. It's another surgery And you know that piece of shit don't work. I'll listen to his bullshit, because that's all he's going to give me, is a bunch of bullshit. Oh, the government says you're over-medicated. Well, maybe I was. It was working. Until you decided to cut me back. Must be a long ball game. I thought we'd hear a score from Kathy by now. Yeah, you notice? Just take a person and ruin them, you know? Put me back 5, 6 years. And then to do it during summer, so that I can't get out and do what I want, you know. Especially now that I got the deal sealed up on the Passat. I can't wait to get that car over here. Somebody was telling me it's got a 6-speed in it. I thought it had a 5. I hope. It'd be something new. Another gear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6. Yeah, Linda, because they're all getting kickbacks from the goddamn drug companies. I remember before the shit hit the fan, when I was with the clinic, my primary care, who actually did both, primary care and pain management, he had a room that looked like a pharmacy. And he would give free samples. Before he'd write a prescription, he'd say, here's a month's worth of whatever. If it works, I'll give you a prescription. If not, throw it away. We'll try something else. And then they said the drug companies couldn't do that anymore. I would go and I would see the drug reps fill in the shelves. It was like a pharmacy. Free samples. You know, a jar with maybe 5 pills. He'd give you a bag full to get you through a month. And then the government cracked down and said, no more. You can't do that. Now, I don't know about doctors down in your area, but Back in the day, did you ever have a doctor give you free samples? Because a lot of the doctors had these rooms in their buildings. They were like pharmacies. Because I can remember he gave me, I can't remember what the hell. Oh, Lyrica. He gave me a month's worth of Lyrica. And the side effects I got from that shit, so he told me, throw them away. I'll give you something else. And that's when he gave me the Neurontin. And I've been on that ever since. But yeah, he gave me the Lyrica in free samples. And I took it for about a week. And I was having nasty side effects. And he said, throw it away. I'll give you something else. He didn't even want them back. I said, no, I got a bunch of them unopened. Throw them away. Throw them away. Yeah, I think the bottles had like 5 pills. Little boxes. Gave me a month's worth. I had a big bag. And then, whenever they'd write prescriptions, the drug company would give them a kickback. I remember my doctor, I have to go to a conference down in Cancun, or a conference in the French Riviera. The drug companies were paying for it. Thank you for prescribing our drug. Here's a week-long conference. All it was a vacation. When's the last time you saw a pen with a drug company name on it? Remember? The doctors had jars full of them on their... You'd go to sign in, they'd say, keep the pen. Somewhere, I have got a shitload of pens with every drug name on them. You go to the doctor's office, keep the pen, here you go. Matter of fact, there in Lyrica, it says so right on the fucking pen. I knew I had one left. Yeah, Lyrica. Keep the pen. They'd have jars full of them on their goddamn counters. Because every goddamn drug rep, they were competing. Yeah, my doctor didn't look. Because I walked past one day and they were filling the bins. And I asked his receptionist, I said, what's with the... Well, it's where we keep our free samples. And one drug company would offer the doctor more than the other. You talk about graft back in the day. Holy shit. If one drug company flew a doctor to Cancun, another drug company would fly him to the French Riviera for a week. I mean, that's the way it used to be. Oh, you went to Cancun on ABC Drug Company? Oh, we'll fly you to Venezuela. Or Linda, I have one of those cases that a drug rep used to use. It was in my doctor's garbage. I took it. Yeah, it's all got all kinds of neat compartments in it. I can't remember what drug company. I'll have to look. Yeah, I was walking past the dumpster and was like, oh, what's this? A roller case. Looks like a giant doctor's bag on wheels with a handle, you know. Came from a drug rep. I don't know why she threw it away, but it was in my doctor's dumpster, so... All right, yeah. The government said no more. That's why you don't see anything with a drug company name on it or a drug, because the federal government cracked down and said no more. Oh, I had a stack of notepads that I can't remember the drug company. Notepads, pens, pencils, keychains, you name it. Not no more. Pill containers, you know. Anything drug related, like them pill sorters. I've got one from probably every goddamn drug company in the world. My doctor would give them away. Here, a week's worth of pills, sort of, you know. I don't use them, but yeah, it'd be Monday through Sunday, you know, AM, PM, pill sorters. It was back in the day, oh man. There she is, Miss Baseball. How'd the game go, or did I bother asking? Uh, now, this is getting ridiculous. They were on a winning streak, and now, all of a sudden, the opposing team wins every game. How can you say it was a fair game? Would they have 30-year-old midgets? That don't sound right. Not the way your grandson's team was going. That don't sound right. Yeah, you know what? They were probably so goddamn depressed. They really didn't put 110% in. Going, we've been getting screwed, why should we bother, you know? I feel sorry for all the kids. Getting robbed. I hope it was fair. All the bullshit going on. That doesn't necessarily mean the kids were actual members of the team. I could say, here, put this shirt on tonight. I'm sorry, Kathy, I'm the skeptic, man. I'm not even down there, and it's got me so pissed off. Poor kids, you know, trying to be a sportsman, you know, show their 100% sportsmanship, and then they're getting fucked over by the other team. Like I say, I'm not even there, and I'm wound up. Well, it should be about even now, as far as wins and losses. So, now it's like starting from the beginning. Put all that behind them, and let's see them pull it out for the rest of the season. I mean, basically, they're there to have fun, but it's just, you know, when you get shit like they pulled, it's not fair. So if tonight was even as far as the kids' ages, then okay. They played a game, they put their all in it, they lost. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off. But I hope they can pull out some more wins. That's because they got good coaching staff. I'm sure these coaches are really working with these kids. It's amazing how young kids can play like pros. It really is. I used to love watching youth baseball. That's why in the winter I like watching college football rather than watching the NFL. Because it's amazing watching some of these college kids. I think Ron fell asleep. Let's hope he took his pills on time. You're going to have to start calling him, Linda. It's 3 o'clock. Did you take your pill? Boy, it was good seeing Nomad here last night. See, I told you. I know he watches during the day. I kind of poked the bear a little bit, and there he was. Oh, really? Good. Good, good, good. Yeah, I knew if I said something, he'd pop in. Oh, okay. Don't wake him. You were faking it. You weren't asleep. But it's good you're resting. That's why I said, poke him a little bit, you know. Although I did email him. I like, where you been? He told me he's really, by the time he gets done with work, he is so wore out, he don't want to stay up because the time. But I'm glad he popped in. Made me feel good. Really? Unbelievable. Pull the pitcher right off the mound, huh? A little talking to. Good. That's even better, Linda. Got those meds on time. Good. Glad to hear it. Did anybody happen to go to the store and look in the pop aisle to see if there's any $1.49 Cherry RC in your area? because it is delicious. I'm hooked already. It is very good. I recommend the Cherry RC Cola. Outstanding. Not to mention, brings back a lot of memories of being a kid. Yeah, it's supposed to be nationwide, according to the delivery driver. They want to promote it. I didn't even know they had it. So I bought 6. Every bottle in the store. It was funny because today the younger brother was working. You buy all RC? I said, yeah. None left for other customer. I said, well, tell your driver to bring more. He only brought 8. Somebody bought 2. I bought the other 6. I guess he didn't think they'd sell. After I tried it, good stuff. Now, I have to buy a regular RC. Just to see if, because like I say, from like 6 years old, that's all I drank, RC Cola. Royal Crown. You don't even hear the Royal Crown anymore. It's just RC. Kids nowadays don't know that. Because when I was in line, I was talking to, there was a woman about my age. And I said, remember Royal Crown Cola? And the kids are looking at the bottle and went, it says RC. Yeah. R for Royal, C for Crown. I don't even think the crown's on the bottle. Let me look. I have one here. Well, it does say Royal Crown. Established in 1905. But there's no crown. Remember, there used to be a big crown on the bottle? It does say Royal Crown Cola, though. Natural cherry flavor. But no crown. That's sad. I missed the crown. I'll have to see if the regular bottle has a crown. Because it always had a crown. Me and my RC. Yep, me and my RC. Cherry. Good stuff. Can't read the label. Pardon me. Produced under the authority of Dr. Pepper's 7-Up Inc. I didn't know that. Oh, these aren't, no, these aren't flat, believe me. I would bitch if they were. Yeah, 1905. I didn't know that was that old. Established 1905. Well, you know, back in the day, this was bigger than Coke and Pepsi. Everywhere you went, you saw Royal Crown. No, when I opened that first bottle, the fizz almost blew the cap off. Because believe me, if it would have been flat, I wouldn't have bought another one. Because flat pop pisses me off. Yeah, hard to believe, isn't it, Kathy? And to think, I started drinking it when I was 5 years old. And it had been around a long time before me. Speaking of being around a long time, I think I've been around a long time tonight. I think it's that time. We know where. Well, everybody, thanks for another fun night. And have a wonderful rest of your evening. And we will meet again right here tomorrow night. Take care, everybody. See you tomorrow.